Hello, WWE Universe. Welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've recapped and reviewed or reacted to a WWE PLE for a number of reasons, which I'm going to get into, but I decided to come back for this one. And this is Survivor Series War Games, which came to us from San Diego, California. And this was the 39th annual Survivor Series. You know that this is a Thanksgiving weekend tradition for almost 40 years. Survivor Series is one of the big four. You know, the original big four. You have Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and of course, WrestleMania. So those were the big four that came out of WWF at the time, and it has rolled over, and it's still a big event. Now you add the element of War Games for the past, I don't know, how long has it been? 5 years of War Games, and War Games originated in Jim Crockett Productions, but WCW took it to another level. At that time, it had a roof over it. It had a roof on the cages. But now, when WWE decided to incorporate it, they took the roof off, which is fine, but I still would like to see the roof, because you can do so many different spots on top of it. I'm not saying Mick Foley thrown off the top type dives and all this here, but you can still do some stuff up there. But I'm not going to complain. The reason this is my first recap in about, I don't know, 3-4 months maybe. I think Clash in Paris was the last recap I did here on the show. And the reason is I just haven't been inspired by WWE. It just grew stale, It wasn't like it was bad. It wasn't anything bad. It just wasn't. It just didn't have nothing to make me want to watch. The premium live events just felt like extension to Raws. Nothing special about those shows. And you had some good matches to come out. I mean, what WrestlePalooza? You had a couple of good matches there. You had a couple of good matches. I can't even think what was the last premium live event from WWE. Well, I think it was a Saturday night main event, but it just didn't have the same pop that I'm used to. No excitement, no build. And even with this, I wasn't really super excited about Survivor Series. It was more of a traditional thing to really get into it, because I wasn't really into the lead up to this premium live event because of the story and the way the stories have played out. Now, a couple of the storylines, they were pretty decent, but they got so much going on. I think it's too many irons on the fire in WWE right now. You can't really focus on one cohesive story, one big story, because everybody's beefing with everybody. Nobody has just one guy that they're going after. Cody isn't just, feuding with Drew McIntyre. He's also feuding with The Vision. He's also feuding with Roman Reigns, so there's so much going on there. And when you're the WWE champion, of course, you're going to have everybody coming at your neck. I get all that. It's bouncing all over the place, even with CM Punk. Now, a lot of that, you have to incorporate injuries and stuff like that. Seth Rollins' injury really put a monkey wrench into a lot of things, going, especially when it comes to CM Punk and The Vision and so many other things going on. So that threw a monkey wrench in it. Now, I don't know what's going on. And we're going to touch in on it in the main event. I don't know, because the man just had legit surgery. This wasn't a fake out like he did at SummerSlam, when he pulled off the ruse of the century. I think he's legit hurt. I don't know what happened in the main event, with this masked figure, but, we'll see how it goes. With all that being said, it had decent story leading up to it. It wasn't just thrown together matches here. It's just that the stories didn't captivate me. This premium live event was really good. This was probably the best War Games match, or the War Games pay-per-view, I would say, in a very long time. It was really only one predictable match. Well, two. Well, they all were predictable. Let me correct myself. I knew who was going to win each match. It was only 4 matches on the card. I knew who was going to win, and I got them all right. But in the matter that they won, that caught me by surprise, and that's what added to my level of excitement, because it added to the story. It fit into story. You have a continuous story going on. And in case you hadn't caught the theme, story. Yes, the wrestling's good. The graps are good. Of course, you want to watch the gladiator aspect of everything. Who doesn't? That's the whole point of watching wrestling. But this is also a soap opera. This is also entertaining in between the black and white. We got to get into the gray area. And I love what I got out of this show. Like I said, we had 4 matches on this card. Number 1, you had a women's War Games match with a team of AJ Lee, I was about to say Styles, AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Iyo Sky, and Rhea Ripley. They were taking on the team of Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and the Kabuki Warriors. And you also had a intercontinental match between John Cena, the champ, going up against Dominic Mysterio, as well as a women's world championship match between Stephanie Becker and Nikki Bella. And then for the main event, you had the men's War Games match, where you had the Vision teaming up with Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar and Logan Paul, along with Paul Heyman, of course. They were taking on the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, the WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. A lot of star power. I mean, it was top heavy, man. That was all the big names in this company in one match. In one match, all of the stars. That is crazy to me. But hey, you kind of needed that. And it fit the narrative. And it made what I've been suffering, well, not just me, all of you as well, what we've been suffering for the past few months on Raw and SmackDown actually makes sense. Some of those segments and matches and run-ins and beatdowns that just came out of nowhere, it looked like it wasn't leading to anything, actually culminated here in the pay-per-view, which, okay, I'm sorry for doubting you, Triple H. My bad. But man, we had to go through so much to get to it, and it didn't stop. This wasn't the end game here. This is not the end. This is just another chapter that's the page we're going to turn to kind of lead us into WrestleMania season. I think this really set up a lot going into WrestleMania season. Normally, we don't get it kicked off until the Royal Rumble, but I feel there's a lot that got set up, especially in that main event. We'll get to that in a few moments, but let's go over these matches, beginning with the first match, the women's War Games match. And this, let me start off by saying I love the change that they did for this version of War Games. We didn't have the shark cages. Immediately I was bought in to this premium live event. Not that I hated the shark cages, but I never really gave it much thought until we didn't have the shark cages. It's weird. It's super weird. This show, or these two matches, these two War Games matches, felt different. It had a kind of a Royal Rumble feel to it, where the next opponent comes out. But once we're counting down the clock, and then the next opponent comes out. It just felt more hype. The anticipation of who's coming out next was there, and it just felt more real. You didn't see them, you didn't know they weren't there on display, cramped up in these little shark cages with four other men and women. It just didn't make sense, and all of that came to fruition today. And I was like, why did we have the shark cage? What was the point? I think this was a great, subtraction, not addition, but a subtraction. It just gave it a new, fresh vibe to the match, and I think that's what we needed, because it was getting stale. It really was getting stale. Still is in a lot of sense. It's I can't put my finger on what you can change, but that was a good start. And so we start off with our first match of the night, the women's War Games match. AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Iyo Sky, Rhea Ripley taking on Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and the Kabuki Warriors. This match, normally, and if you've listened to this show long enough, you know that I'm a huge fan of women's wrestling, especially in WWE. I love all these women for their talents and skills, what they bring to the table. It isn't just eye candy. That isn't it. They really bring it. Those women go out there every week, and it's like they got something to prove, like they're trying to get to the level as, of the men, but I think they surpassed it. At least they have in my book. I really did enjoy them. Now, lately, it hasn't gotten stale, but it's like they're in a holding pattern, and, we're getting the same matches over and over. It feels like nothing new, nothing fresh. It feels like we're about to turn that corner. It does, especially with the addition of Lash Legend being called up from NXT. Didn't watch too much of her in NXT. The little that I did see, I was excited. I really was expecting her to be called up to be a part of like a stable with Jade Cargill or something like that. And that kind of would have been cool. But I'm cool with where she's at. And the way she was presented in this match tells me that they got plans for Lash Legend in the future, and I mean near future. Starting off this match, you had Charlotte Flair and Asuka. They kicked it off. First 5 minutes of the match gave us a traditional match to kind of start off decent. It was decent, didn't set the world on fire, but it was nicely paced, being as though they knew they had to go another 40 minutes in this match. But on a personal note, I still have a little disdain for Charlotte Flair and Asuka for their WrestleMania match from I forgot how long ago. What was it? Not 30. When it was in New Orleans last, because I was at that WrestleMania. I saw that match live. I was right there to watch that match, and it was so much hype around that match because Asuka, she was undefeated at the time. Asuka had just won the Royal Rumble, coming up from NXT. She was a beast. They really presented her well, real strong. Get into this match with Charlotte, who was the champion, and I was like, yeah, man, this is gonna steal the show. It didn't. It didn't. I think Charlotte won that match, and that's what really made me mad. I'm like, why did Charlotte go over in that match? Really? And Asuka hasn't recovered since. Asuka is great. She's doing great work and has been doing great work since, but not to the level she was in NXT and when she was first called up until we got to that WrestleMania match. It really lights a fire under my butt. I really cannot stay. They really made me mad. I was in the Superdome hot. After that, I didn't care what happened. I think the John Cena Undertaker quote unquote match happened after that, and then you had the main event. It was Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I didn't even care. I didn't care. And then you had the and I know I'm going off a tangent here, but it's all coming back to my head. I got mad at the AJ Styles and oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Tensei Nakamura. That's who. Yeah, I got mad at that. Once again, another one. A beast in NXT called him up. He won the Royal Rumble. He's challenging AJ Styles, and you got that match. And I was hot. Those two matches. But anyway, let's focus back on Survivor Series. Survivor Series kicked off with these two. It was all right. They had just had a match on SmackDown to see who would have the advantage going into this match, and it was Charlotte's team that had the advantage because she beat Asuka, and they kicked it off. First 5 minutes, all right, decent. Next entry, Iyo Sky. Iyo Sky, the undisputed MVP of WarGames matches, her and her trash cans, which made an appearance today, and she came in, man. If Iyo Sky isn't the best wrestler currently working, and I'm saying best wrestler, I didn't put a male nor female in front of it. Wrestler, point blank, period. Iyo Sky is great. Mic work, I mean, there's a language barrier there, so I'm taking that and throwing that to the side. I mean, in the ring, being able to connect with the audience, despite all that, being able to work a match with whoever, it doesn't matter who she's in the ring with or how many people she's in the ring with. And she is a beast. She is an MVP. She came in. We had a good face-to-face with her and Asuka. You know, there's history there that goes beyond WWE. The one thing that kind of confused me when Asuka and Iyo were going at it, I'm sitting there like, where is Charlotte? You know, Charlotte just disappeared for like 5 minutes in this match when Iyo came in, and it was a lot of that in this match. Well, I'll get to it at the end, but anyway, I'm like, man, where'd she go? Where'd she go? Even when the next person came in, who was Becky Lynch, it still took her a minute or so to pop back up. Becky Lynch, she enters, she takes control, gives some shots on Iyo, and then we get face-to-face with Becky and Charlotte. Look, we all know the history there. Started off as friends, became frenemies, then came straight up enemies. And they said at one point that they weren't going to work together again. They were not going to get in the ring with one another. That's how much disdain they had for each other. I mean, I remember an interview when Becky Lynch, this was years ago, she was in tears talking about Charlotte Flair, on how much love and respect she had for her, and how good friends they was in a car crash together and all this other stuff. It was like she was pouring her heart out, and it killed her, the fact that they can't be friends anymore. It was that deep. You know how mad you gotta be to not want to deal with somebody but express how much you love them. It's kind of like marriage, but we'll get into that another time. Anyways, they did lock up. They had a good back and forth. I actually enjoyed that part of the match a lot because they worked well together. That was a part of the reason why it was so hurtful that they declared that they weren't going to work together again. But here we are. And so Becky gets the upper hand. Asuka teams up on them after she took out Iyo. So it was a team up on Charlotte. And then Alexa Bliss comes in to aid her bestie. And she starts laying out folk over. She starts laying out folk. It is hard to look at Alexa Bliss and take her seriously because Alexa Bliss looks like you could just pick her up and put her in your pocket. She's so tiny, you know. Now it's not like the women that was currently in the ring at this point were huge. You know, we get big girls in there later, but at that she still looked puny. You know, next to Becky Lynch, who isn't a healthy woman. You know, Iyo, she's not a big woman, but she just looks so puny, man. But I love Alexa Bliss, I really do. I wish they would do more with Alexa Bliss because she's a beast as a heel. That's what she needs to be, a heel. But they're holding that back for some strange reason. So, once again, we get another disappearance. Iyo, she disappeared for about 10 minutes. Or about 5 minutes or so. But she disappeared. And that was part of the things that just bothered me about this match. You know, because the men did it better. The men did it so much better. And I hate to compare the two. I really do. But the problem I had with this match, and I was saving it to the end, but I guess I'll talk about it now. It just felt so choreographed. And yes, they're all choreographed. I know. I've been watching wrestling for 45 years. I know. But it looked choreographed. Everything just looked staged. Like everybody had to get to their point. You could see the wrestlers, the performers there. They were telling them, "Oh, scoot over some, or move over here." Or it was just weird, man. It didn't feel real, you know. And they weren't making the effort to make it look real, you know. It just looked like they were trying to hit their spots, and it was just here because once the match officially started, it got better. The match got much better. But at first, as everybody was filing into the match, it was just real paint by numbers, you know, like, okay, I need to be here. I need to hit this mark and all this here. And so after who had came in? I think Alexa. Yeah, after Alexa came in, Kairi Sane came in, who is equally as small, if not smaller than Alexa Bliss. But once again, big fan of Kairi Sane. And she started laying waste with the aid of a chain. I think this was the first introduction of weapon. No, Becky brought in a kendo stick, I think. Was it Becky who brought? I know it was a kendo stick in there. But anywho's, the chain was even worse. The chain, she wrapped it around her hand. She's clotheslining people, hitting people in the face with it. So that's where it got kind of ridiculous. I'm like, okay, you hitting somebody flush in the face with a chain wrapped around your hand. It's they would be knocked out. There'd be some blood here, but you know, it's women. I get it. They saved that for later. We got blood in the main event. After Kairi, we got the returning AJ Lee. AJ Lee performing in her first Survivor Series match, her first WarGames match, I should say. And, you know, like I said, I haven't done the show in a minute. Haven't done it since she returned. I'm happy to see AJ Lee back. I am, man, because she looked like she hadn't missed a beat. She looks the exact same. She kept herself in shape, boy. And so she is AJ Lee. I'll just leave it at that. But I don't know if she particularly fits this era. And you know, it didn't really dawn on me until this match. I had my little questions at WrestlePalooza, but WrestlePalooza was a first match back. You know, it was a mixed tag team match, and you know, I didn't really read into it too much. But this one here, her style just didn't really mesh with the style that was prevalent in this match and was prevalent in WWE's women's wrestling. And, once again, it isn't like she's in a solo match. We've yet to see her in a solo match. So I'm going to reserve judgment. But it just felt like she was off a little bit. And now her moves, she hit her moves flawlessly. She was working around the ring. She did everything she was supposed to do. I'm not pooing on her. I don't want you to think that I'm crapping on AJ Lee. I'm just saying I don't know yet. I still need to see her in a one-on-one match in WWE. And I know it's coming soon, and I know it's going to be Becky Lynch, and that's going to help her a lot, because if anybody going to make her look good in the ring, it's Becky Lynch. And so I'm anticipating that. After AJ Lee entered, we finally got the heavy hitters. Next up was Nia Jax, who came in and just laid waste, as she was supposed to. And she's the biggest one, she's the most, well, I can't say she's the most powerful one. I'll take that back. She's not the most powerful one. That's yet to come. But I noticed something about good old Nia. Nia looked like she's slimming up on. It looks like she's still big, but she's not, and I mean big in a good way now. But she's kind of slimming up, trying to get her little olive glass there. I'm like, okay, Nia, I see you, girl. I see you. But she's a beautiful. I mean, if anybody says anything negative about Nia Jax, they need to be shot. They need to go get their eyes checked. That woman, I don't care what her size is. She is gorgeous, and she works her size, But whatever. I'm going on a whole nother round. So we already know who's next up for the babyface team, and that is none other than the biggest babyface there is, and that's Rhea Ripley, who enters, and she brings all the weapons, trash cans, kendo sticks, and a Terrifier mask. She came in and did her thing, started working her way through the heel team. Nice little oh no, that's not yet. I'm about to get to that. But yeah, she did her thing when she came in. Next up for the heel team, and last, and this was the shock for me, last was Lash Legend. Soon to be Mrs. Trick Williams, Lash Legend. Congratulations to her and Trick. They got engaged on Thanksgiving Day. So good on them. But she came in last, and that speaks volumes. That says a lot that she's coming in last. So WWE is really getting behind Lash Legend. And when she entered, they really put the exclamation point on it, because she laid out everybody, showed off her power. I'm anticipating a lot of big matches from her, and we got a little tease with her and Rhea Ripley. Oh boy, I can't wait to see that in live action, bro. That one-on-one battle between those two, it won't be coming soon. I know a lot of us are, foaming at the mouth for WrestleMania. Oh, Lash Legend and Rhea Ripley. Let's pump the brakes. Lash Legend just got there. There's plenty of time to get to that. We can set that up for next year's WrestleMania or whatever, SummerSlam or something like that. There's no need to rush. And that's part of the problem with WWE. That's part of the problem with pro wrestling and as a whole. We want to rush into these dream matches. And then after that, then what? Let's take our time. Let's build up to the big match. Let Lash Legend go through her little trials and tribulations and work her way up the ladder, and then they can clash, and it will pay off better. It'll feel better. Don't just throw her in the ring. I appreciate what they're doing with Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez dominant in NXT. I'm glad they didn't have her come in there like a Stephanie Becker, who just picked up where she left off, collecting belts. And I'm not mad at that. That works for Stephanie Becker. But for Roxanne Perez, you can build around her. And so they're building, they're making it, when that moment happens, it's going to be impactful. And that's the whole point. To reiterate what I said before, I didn't watch too much Lash Legend in NXT. The little that I did, I thought she was all right, but nothing really screamed, oh man, can't wait to see her on the main roster. But I'm looking to buy into this. I'm looking to see where this goes with her. I want to see what plans they have for her, because the way she was presented tonight, they are pretty much scrapping and rocket to her. I'm shocked by this. Seriously, I thought if anybody would come in last, it probably would have been Nia Jax or Becky Lynch, but that's not the case. They threw them in first and let her come in last, and it's important, man. Just think about, if you don't think that mounts up to anything, who came in last in the main event in the men's WarGames match? Roman Reigns. And that was impactful, was it not? And so that, I don't know. You tell me. Anyways, like I said, this match got much better once the match officially kicked off, with all participants, if I can get it out, were in the ring. It was exciting. It was fun. Now, the one thing I'll say, the moment when Kairi Sane got in the ring, that's when it really started to pick up. I really was invested. All that clunky choreographed feel of the match went away once Kairi Sane got in there, because she looks like she's just a energized bunny, just running around, just doing stuff. It just added a new element to the match that made it feel real, and then it really got real. Another thing, I was going into this like, man, I pray that Iyo Sky does not dive off the cage with a trash can over her head. That was my only wish. It really was. That was my only wish, because she's done it every year. I'm like, man, do something different. Do something different. Now, she came in at first with the trash lid. So I already knew the trash can wasn't far behind, but at least she started off with the lid. I'm like, okay, I can live with that. But hey, my wish was dashed away. But I must say, I was all right, because she did something different. She did a moonsault off of the. Normally, she just straight up dive, because she's blind. She don't know. She just dive, and everybody catches her. But this go around, she actually did a flip off with the can, and my mouth dropped, and I quickly apologized. I'm like, okay, you did something different, and it looked fire. It landed flawlessly. It worked. It worked. I loved it. Loved it. Great ending to this match. The team of AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Iyo Sky, and Rhea Ripley defeats the heel team of Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and the Kabuki Warriors to win the Women's War Games match. This match went 41 minutes and 10 seconds. Give you a little spoiler alert. This was the longest match of the night. It was longer than the main event by a minute, actually by a few, just by 30 seconds, but it was longer nonetheless. It was the longest match of the night. It was sloppy at times. It was predictable. Like I said, I knew who was going to win, but I was entertained, and that's all I can ask for. I never once thought about getting up and going to get something to eat. I was completely invested in this match from beginning to end, even though I had my issues with it. If I'm grading it on a letter grade scale, I give this match a C plus. Yeah, I thought it was a good match, man. It was a good start to the night. It wasn't going to be, oh man, this should have been the main event. It wasn't that, but as far as an appetizer to get you ready for the main course, it did its job. We move on to the second match of the night, and it was for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. And this was John Cena's final premium live event. And with me saying that, I got chills up my spine. I don't know if I ever told y'all that I never, well, not never, I'm embellishing. I wasn't the biggest John Cena guy. I thought he was all right. Entertaining, yes. In the ring, not so much. I mean, five moves of death. 5 moves of doom. I wasn't. It didn't get me. It never got me. I liked him better as the Thugonomics. But when he became Fruit Loop John Cena, I was like, ah. And that's another thing. When people had the heel turn thing, like, oh man, John Cena never turned heel. What you mean? He started off as a heel. He was what you thought the Doctor of Thugonomics was? He's a heel. He was a heel. He started off as a heel. But I didn't really have that connection to John Cena. And I guess it's that you never miss a good thing till it's gone. And when he announced that he was retiring, I was like devastated. I really was hurt. I was like, man, no more John Cena. after, and he's given us some good, really, really good matches. None I would consider great, but really good matches. And he did hold this company down for many years. He was the face of this company. He probably still is in a lot of sense. Everybody knows John Cena inside and outside of wrestling. And tonight it's starting to sit in. That's why I'm going on this long diatribe. It's really starting to sit in that we're 2 weeks away from the end of this man's career as a wrestler, bruh. And bruh, at the end of this match between him and Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, I really got a little teary-eyed. I got some water in the tear ducts. Nothing fell, but I got a little water in there. I was like, man, this is it for the premium live events. December 13th, that's it. And it really set, and my stomach it was like somebody kicked me in the stomach. And I was hurt. I was seriously hurt by it. With that being said, John Cena enters this match as the Intercontinental Champion. I knew he was going to lose this match because it didn't make sense for his last match to be for the Intercontinental Championship. It's his last match. We know he's going to lose. 9 times out of 10 is going to be Gunther. It's going to be Gunther. And so what does Gunther need with the Intercontinental Championship? That's a waste of time for him. So it wouldn't have been for that. And so I knew that he was going to lose this match. It was just a matter of how. How was Dirty Dom going to pull this off? I love this match. This was, as much as predictable as this was, I have never been more entertained. This was the most entertaining match of the card, hands down. I did not see all these things coming that came in this match. At one point, I was pulling for Cena. I wanted to be wrong. I wanted Cena to win because Cena was out there. He was doing his thing, man. And to Dom's credit, Dom, I'm going to do equal share here since I gave John Cena his flowers. Let me give Dom his. I was telling a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Dominic Mysterio, and I said, let me tell you, Dominic Mysterio is currently my favorite wrestler all around. He is killing it, man. I love Dominic Mysterio. He has it. He gets it. He now it helps. It helps that your father is one of the greatest of all times, but he gets it's not even about his father. You could take the Mysterio off his name, and he is holding it on his own. And I think that's why I respect him more than anything. He doesn't really, that's not what he's not a Nepo baby. He's not doing this. It's weird to say. Let me run this back. Let me try to formulate this better. Yes. Do he use his father's moves? Yeah. The 619? Yeah, of course. Of course he does. Does he always bring up his deadbeat dad? Of course he does. But there's more to it than that. It's his swag. It's his vibe, his attitude, his style of wrestling. It's just everything he does inside and especially out is perfect. I used a prime example of there was a segment on Raw when Rusev and Penta were backstage and they were arguing on who was gonna face Dom for the Intercontinental Championship. I think this was at right before the last Saturday night main event. And Rusev was just standing in the hallway and Dom was coming around the corner. And the way the camera was set, Dom, he saw Rusev and just the look on his face and he just ran off the other direction. I don't know why it's just seared in my brain as one of the greatest moments on Raw. It was just that little thing that he did in his acting at that moment was spot on perfect. And I just love the dude. And after this match in particular, just amen to everything that I felt about him. We start this match off pretty basic. Thought this was going to be a pretty formulated match between John Cena and Dom, and it took a turn. It took a turn. If you don't know, last week on Raw, Penta, and we sending prayers and thoughts to Penta, who got injured on Raw in the Last Time Is Now tournament when he tried to Hurricane Rana and he fell on his shoulder, and I think he messed up his shoulder. Dom did the same thing, ironically, to John Cena tonight in this match. And he kind of landed on his shoulder, his head, or whatever, and he looked like he was hurt, legitimately. And I'm like, man, what's the odds of this happening twice? Now, in the back of my mind, I'm like, nah, this is Dom being dirty Dom, but the way it was playing out for the first 2 or 3 minutes, I was like, wait, this is real. This might be real. And then Raquel and Roxy got involved. I'm like, oh my God, they did. they really they got me. They got me. They were pulling this off. They went to beating John Cena up, and they actually beat up John Cena, which was ridiculous. But John Cena not gonna. It's not like he's gonna AA Roxanne Perez. Now that would have been nice. That would have been cool to see. But no, he got beat up by them. Dom comes in. Now they were interfering before that now, but the ref didn't see it. And Dom he just jumps up off of the apron, off of the floor, rolls in the ring, hits the splash, starts to count, and the ref didn't even count. The ref was like, wait. Wait, you was just on the ground, screaming in pain. You broke your shoulder, whatever, whatever. And then he looks over, he sees Raquel and Roxanne, and he kicks them out. And he's like, nah, we're not doing it like this. We're going to do it right. Uh, so they go back at it, Dom and John Cena. Um, John Cena, was it John? Yeah, John Cena knocked out the ref. He knocked the ref out accidentally, knocked him out the ring. And then you see the rest of the Judgment Day come out. Finn Balor and JD McDonough, who they began beating up on John Cena. Now, John Cena wouldn't hit a woman, but he would hit them. So he fought back on them and hit a double AA on them. That was the best looking double AA ever. It took him 20 years, but he finally hit that double AA perfectly with JD McDonough and Finn Balor. It was perfectly executed. There's more back and forth between Dom and John, and suddenly we hear Liv Morgan's music. I kind of had a feeling she was coming back. WWE teased it. I don't know why they do these teas. It spoils the surprise. It doesn't, let it be a actual surprise. But they was kind of spoiling it on social media that Liv was coming back. But whatever. We're happy to see her back. She comes back. She slaps Don. And you're like, okay. And I thought it was going to be a little swerve. But then it set in. I was like, wait, no, it can't be this easy. And when she jumped into John Cena's arms, I was like, oh, is she going to give him the oblivion? Or at least attempt to give John Cena the oblivion? Which would have been cool, but that's not what she did. It was a fake hug. Low blow John Cena. Threw him in the ropes. Dom hit the 619, then hit the splash. 1, 2, 3. He regains his Intercontinental Championship, making him a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, along with being a AAA Mega Champion, as well as he leaves the ring holding the belts and Liv Morgan. John Cena, he's laid out in the ring, and this is where it hit me. This is the moment where the emotion started. I was like, oh man, this is the last time. At least for a premium live event, we got one more. But that was cool. And I know a lot of people were upset that this match was taking place because this is John Cena's last run. Why is he wrestling Dominic Mysterio twice? And you got a tournament going on where people are legit getting hurt in this tournament. Penta is out for a while. Sheamus is hurt. He's out. They're in this tournament and they, fighting for the chance to be the last man to face John Cena in his career. And Dominic Mysterio just, voila, gets 2 matches in a 1-month span, with John Cena. It was supposed to be this way. And this match was supposed to go exactly how it went. Dominic couldn't beat John Cena straight up. It keeps John Cena looking like John Cena, like the superhero, and it keeps Dominic Mysterio looking like the slimy, backstabbing, cheat to win character that he is. And so it was perfectly done, Was it necessary to have 2 matches? Maybe not. Would I prefer to see John Cena face somebody else? Sure. But with him having the Intercontinental Championship, it had to go this way. It had to, because he couldn't go into his last match holding a belt. That would have been ridiculous. So if I had to grade this match on a letter grade, I'd give it a B+. I thought it was really good. It was really, really good. Our third match of the night is for the Women's World Championship. The champion, Stephanie Becker, takes on Nikki Bella. This was the one match that I wish was not on this card. This is the one match I wish didn't happen, period. And there's no slight on Stephanie Becker. Huge fan. Huge. It's huge. I, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. There's no bigger crush currently going on right now than my crush for Stephanie Vaquer. I will risk it all for Stephanie Vaquer. But she's a beast in the ring as well. She deserves everything that she is currently holding, and which is that belt right now. And no slight on her, but Nikki Bella, bro. Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella never was. Look, with all due, and I mean with all due respect to Nikki Bella, Nikki Bella was never a ring worker like that. She was a Divas era wrestler. That's what she was. You know, she wasn't there for the graps. She was there for the eye candy, along with a lot of women in that era. You know, WWE didn't take women's wrestling seriously during that time. It was all about who looked the best in a skimpy outfit in the ring. That's all it was about. And she played her role well, because she did look the best in the skimpy outfit. And so, I mean, I'm not knocking her for that, but I mean, as far as her in-ring skills, in comparisons to Stephanie Vaquer, not even close. Not even close. Now, I give Nikki Bella this. This was her best outing since she's returned. And I think a lot of that probably goes to Stephanie Vaquer carrying the match, but she had no business being in the ring with Stephanie Vaquer. This match was lame. This was the worst Stephanie Vaquer match, man. I wasn't entertained at all throughout this match. Now, the one thing that did entertain me, you know, aside from the Devil's Kiss, was the corkscrew splash. That is a thing of beauty. That is one of the best finishers currently in wrestling. Her execution, it's just perfect. And that's not an easy move to execute. And she does it flawlessly. Man, what a move. And she nailed it. The one she did to Iyo to win the Women's World Championship at WrestlePalooza was I thought was flawless. This one was better. I mean, perfect. Perfect. She wins this match. It was nothing you know, to write home and tell mom about. You know what I was anticipating? I was waiting for the moment Brie Bella to come out from underneath the ring. I really was waiting. I thought Double Trouble was in play, because I didn't see any other way Nikki Bella had a shot at winning this match. But that didn't happen. Stephanie Vaquer wins clean. On a grading scale, I give this match a C minus, and I'm being very kind. I think most of that is because of my love, if I can use that word, for Stephanie Vaquer. But other than that, this match was what it was. We move on to the main event of the evening, and it is the men's War Games match, and this was an all-star battle. We had the Vision as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman, along with Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul, going up against basically a bunch of champs, either champs or former champs. You got the current World Heavyweights champion, CM Punk, the current WWE champion with Cody Rhodes, the former both with Roman Reigns, and the former tag team champions with the Usos, and the former heavyweight champion with Jay. Just a bunch of former champs, you know, and it was a lot of hardware on that side of the fence. And so plenty of star power. We start off the match with, once again, this was a shock. I was shocked that Bron Breakker and CM Punk started this match off. I thought it was going to be, I thought Punk would probably wait to second to last or something like that. You know, I didn't think they were going to come out hot, and they came out hot. This is a match that I was thinking WWE was probably saving for, I don't know, Royal Rumble maybe, not so much WrestleMania, but Royal Rumble with CM Punk and Bron Breakker, because I see Bron Breakker being that dude. And we'll get to the end of this match, which kind of helped that theory. But they are teasing that Bron Breakker is in for some breakthroughs. No pun intended. But they started off the match. It started just like you would think, pretty brutal. Bron Breakker, of course, had the upper hand, being the stronger, younger, faster guy. CM Punk showing his wisdom, his experience, getting the upper hand at times as well. Good start to this match, well paced. You know, you don't want to get CM Punk blown up early. You know, he's not a spring chicken, and so they properly paced the opening minutes of this match before our third contestant came in, and that was none other than Drew McIntyre, one of CM Punk's hated rivals. Had the best feud in 2024 between those two. And so now you got CM Punk between a rock and a hard place, literally, with the feud of the past with Drew, feud of the future with Bron Breakker. Oh man, he's in trouble. And it exactly what you thought. You started off with Drew entering the cage and immediately hitting CM Punk with a Claymore kick. I mean, immediately. And I was like, okay, this is not going to go well for Punk. This is going to be a long 3 minutes. And it was. They took it to him before his help arrived, and it was none other than the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. Sprinted to the ring to help his boy and even out the odds. Pretty good back and forth between those two, especially with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre had recently got suspended for attacking Cody Rhodes or attacking a ref, actually, but that was after he beat up Cody Rhodes, and then he jumped Cody Rhodes in his tour bus a couple of weeks ago, leaving him a bloody mess. And so that assault continued. By the end of their little beatdown in this little 3-minute interval, you had blood. Cody was bleeding and CM Punk was bleeding. It was and that's how it was supposed to be. You know, and they saved it for the right time and they saved it for the right people. And it was kind of weird to see both champs, you know, heavyweight champion and the WWE champion, leaking like that in this ring. But that's how they left where we're leaving them until Logan Paul. He entered the ring to zero fanfare. Look, I'm with everybody else, or with the vast majority who hates Logan Paul. It's hard for me. It's really hard for me because the dude performs at a breakneck pace in that ring. He is awesome in that ring. Awesome in the ring. Outside, could care less, but in the ring, he is really committed, man. This isn't something that he's just doing. You know, when you see some celebrities that come in for matches, you know, little special matches that they have, you could tell that they're just doing it to do it. Not him. He really is committed to this. He's all in. I mean, character and all. I got to give him that. I'm going to give him that. You know, but he comes in, you know, he has a little feud with CM Punk as well. He wants a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Also, that leads us to Jimmy Uso entering the match. to once again even out the odds, or actually get the upper hand at this. Oh, no, to even out the odds. To even out the odds. He does his thing. Pull Jimmy. Jimmy Jimmy, I feel the same about Jimmy as I do about Jay, and I'm gonna get to Jay in a sec. But I don't. I just don't see. They are a great tag team. I'll put it that way, and we're gonna move on. And so they're doing their thing. Jimmy allows the babyface team to kind of get the upper hand, or to get a little upper hand, even out the odds, and then Bronson Reed enters, and Bronson Reed lays out everybody. Bronson Reed comes in and immediately hits not one, not two, but three tsunamis. Hits one on CM Punk, one on Cody Rhodes, and one on Jimmy Uso. It was a thing of beauty. And at this point, the babyface team is done. The babyface team is all laid out. They're I don't know who could come in to save them. We already know that Roman's not going to be next. They're not going to save Jay for last. At least I was hoping that wasn't the case. But either way, neither one of them was going to come in and help him at this point. But Jay does come in next. And Jay comes in. His music hit. Everybody go crazy. This match, I'm going to give a little spoiler alert. This match would have been pitch perfect for me. This would have been an A+ match. It really would have. Until this part of the match. I like Jey Uso. I like Jimmy Uso. I like the Usos. Them as singles don't work for me. Never have. And it seems like it never will. It was a good moment that Jay won the championship at WrestleMania against Gunther, even though I still don't like that he beat Gunther. Not only beat him, but choked him out, or tapped him out. But I don't get him, man. I don't see the main event allure of Jey Uso. Mid card, sure. Main event, no. Just the other night he beat Rusev in the tournament. And I'm like, what? No. No, because I don't want him to be the final opponent of John Cena. That would be a trash match for John Cena to go out on. But Jay just don't do it for me. And one of the reasons, I should say, is the mess he pulled here. He comes in, he saves everybody. He lays out everybody. They are building him up like he is peak bloodline Roman Reigns level. And he just lays out everybody. So after he laid out the entire vision, he starts his music back up again and gets on top of the cage in the middle of the match and does the yeet. As he's doing that, the beast incarnate comes out, Brock Lesnar. And while Brock Lesnar is coming out, he's still on top of the it just took me completely out of the match. I was like, man, why are y'all doing this, bro? Did y'all have to do this in the middle of the match? If you wanted to have that moment where the stadium is rocking with the yeet, have him come out first. They should have had him come out first and allowed the audience to have their time in the sun. But this was dumb. It just, logically, it was stupid to me. I did not enjoy that at all. And it took me out. And I had to literally take a long inhale and exhale and just cool out and let Brock Lesnar come in there and just ravish everybody. Literally, Michael Cole said it best during the match. He was like, man, it's like being locked in a cage with a grizzly bear. And that's exactly what he was. He was just, it's not enough tea in China to get me in a steel cage with Brock Lesnar. In a ring, period. But in a steel cage? No, I'll pass. he He went to work on him, and true to form, our last entry into this match was Roman Reigns to make it official. Bruh, this was like when they were in the aisleway, when Brock came out of the cage to meet Roman at the aisleway, and I'm looking at them like it was like the good and bad and the ugly when when Clint Eastwood is standing there in the midst of the draw, and they were just staring at each other, preparing to charge. And I was like, man, are they gonna charge at one another and just jump, and it just collide like two. You ever watch those nature shows where you see lions fight and they just run and collide with one another and just that's what I envisioned in that aisleway when they was standing there about to charge. We didn't get that, but it was cool. But that would have been a cool moment at that point. Roman hits Brock with about 3 Superman punches to the point where Brock catches him at one of the attempts and F5s him onto a table. Starts beating him down. They finally enter the ring. The match officially starts, and it went pretty quick after that. I was a little shocked on how quick the match went. Now the match was 40 minutes in total, but it was like once it officially started, we didn't get a lot of big spots, and I think that was because number one, basically your top roster, everybody on the top is in this ring. You can't afford not one individual in this match to get hurt. Not one. They can't chip a nail in this match because the future plans for the next 3 to 4 months are hanging in the balance of this one match, your whole main event card. And so you didn't get any big spots, but there were some good spots, really good spots. Like I said, I like the Bronson Reed. I should know his last name. Bronson Reed tsunami sequence, which was cool, kind of a full circle moment. We know that he hurt his foot, broke his foot last year at this event and in this match that had him out for about 6-7 months or something. So this was full circle for him. Roman came in and looked like the tribal chief that he is, unstoppable force. And then you had the immovable object in Brock Lesnar, and it was some it was some good clashes in this match that led to the mystery guy. You had this mystery guy in a black hoodie. He's wrapped up, man. He's wrapped up like a Christmas present. You couldn't see not 1 ounce of flesh on this dude. Enters the ring, super kicks CM Punk, and then curve stomps him and runs back out the ring, or climbs out the cage and leaves. Who is this? Now, when he first got into the ring, let me tell you where my mind went. Chris Jericho. I thought Chris Jericho was going to make his return. That's been talked about, rumored for a couple of months now because his contract at AEW is coming up, if not up already. And I was like, okay, that would be cool. If he joined the Vision, that would be cool. Something like that. I don't know. You couldn't pay me to give you my true thoughts on who I think that is. I don't think it's Seth Rollins. Now, once he did the stump, I knew it wasn't Chris Jericho, but it still can be. It still can be, but I'm not. I don't know, man. The way his body is shaped and how quick he moved, I don't think that's Chris Jericho. But I don't know. I don't know who that could be. Anyways, that led to a big spear from Bronson Reed onto CM Punk for the 1, 2, 3. and Vision and the heel team comes out victorious. Now, there's a lot you could take away from this. Number one, Bron Breakker pinned CM Punk, the heavyweight champion. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack there. Like I said, to start this match, that's the two that started this match. That's kind of been teased for the last month or so as a potential, I don't know, main event for PLE. I don't know WrestleMania per se, but soon. Or it could be WrestleMania. Who knows? We'll see. Or it could be sooner than that. It could be at the Saturday night main event that's coming up. But I don't think that. I don't think they're going to have any other matches. I think it's going to be that one match with the John Cena match, because that's all everybody care about on the 13th. But coming up soon, we're going to get Bron Breakker versus CM Punk because he pinned the champ, But my biggest takeaway in this match, all the champions lost, in this match, not over the course of the night, because Stephanie Vaquera did win, but your heavyweight champion lost and your WWE champion were left laying in the ring bloody. Both of them left in the ring bloody. There's a lot there. And then you have Roman Reigns kind of burying the hatchet with CM Punk. They shook hands and fist bumped, but not with Cody Rhodes. Not with Cody Rhodes. He helped up Punk. He just looked at Cody and told him before he walked out the cage that this is the last time I'm going to team up with you, and walked out. So that's possibly setting up Roman versus Cody 3 at WrestleMania. And that's probably setting that up. I don't want to see that. That's we've been there. We've been there. It's time to move on for that. But it's time to get the belt off Cody. I will say that. Because there's not, as much as Cody is your prototypical traditional champion, he hasn't done anything with that belt. It is nothing has happened with that belt since it's been around his race. I would rather Roman, and you wouldn't have heard that from me 6 years ago. You wouldn't have heard that from anybody 6 years ago. Put it on anybody but Roman. But man, that bloodline storyline, still the greatest storyline in all of wrestling. And I think they pulled the plug on that a tad bit too soon. But I give this match an A-. I was gonna give it a B+, but I give it an A-. What took I'm telling that yeet in the middle of the match, bro. I just cannot get over that. I cannot get over that. But overall, good night, good card. I enjoyed the matches. Even the women's world championship match. I mean, it didn't bore me, but that could have been on Raw. It didn't need to be on this premium live event. But what I did enjoy about these matches, this PLE, the most is the stories, is the storylines going in and what's continuing going out. Because now you have more questions, more questions, more things to look forward to going forward. Who's the mystery guy? What's next for Bron Breakker and CM Punk? What's next for Cody Rhodes? What's next for Stephanie Vaquera? Who's going to step up next and challenge her? We still waiting to see who will be John Cena's last opponent in a couple of weeks. AJ Lee, Becky Lynch, what's up with that? Or, so many questions. But I did enjoy War Games this year. I really, really had a good time. I hope that you did too, and I hope that you had a good time listening to me recap this Survivor Series War Games from San Diego. I had fun. Hope you did too. I would love to know your thoughts. What do you think? Who do you think the mystery man in the hoodie is. Let me know in comments and by email. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. You can subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me. It's been a long time, man. Long time. But I'm back, baby, and I'm back for good, hopefully. Hopefully. Triple H, man, keep it up, bro, because the last few months has been a chore. And so if things keep going the way you set it up tonight, we're in good shape. But I'll be back to recap Saturday Night Main Event on December 13th when we watch the last time, man, the final match for John Cena. And it's gonna be full of tears. But it's gonna be fun nonetheless. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. Until next time, y'all be cool. Peace.